Companies withdrew from Russia will be replaced. 24 hours water collection extended for Mirians, and Malaysian icon Adibah Noor passes at 51. Those are the headlines for tonight. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Muhammad Yusuf, and this is TVS Nightline. We begin with our top story. Companies that had withdrawn from Russia will be replaced, said President Vladimir Putin. It is an opportunity for the country to be self-sufficient and remarked the withdrawals as a non-complicated matter.
Что для нас главное? Быть независимыми, самостоятельными, суверенными и обеспечить развитие на будущее и сейчас, и будущим поколениям. Или иметь упаковку сегодня. Если у нас не будет суверенитета, у нас в недалеком будущем мы будем все покупать и будем производить только нефть, газ, пеньку, седла.
Putin, however, raised concerns over packaging and other technology, but it may come by via Russia's partners from other countries who will be happy to take over the market.
Упаковку и прочие такие вещи, даже телефоны и смартфоны, нам всегда дадут. Но нам никогда не давали и не дадут критически важных технологий. Ведь этого не давали и раньше, несмотря на безоблачные отношения наши с западными партнерами в предыдущие десятилетия. В этом же проблема. Когда мы начинаем отстаивать свои права, нам тут же ввинчивают какие-то санкции и ограничения.
Putin is also optimistic that many of its partners from European countries will return as time passes, and he will not interfere. As he quote-unquote said, Russia is open to the whole world, but there is a need to treat each other with respect. Hundreds of Western companies have left Russia in the past 4 months. Companies such as McDonald's, Renault, and Enel have experienced millions of losses when they sold their assets at a discounted price. It's been a 3-day streak of water supply disruption in MIRI following the broken pipe at mile 7th of Jalan Miri Bintulu. To help supply affected residents with clean water, LAKU Management Sendirian Berhad has extended the operations of its water collection center for 24 hours. This will allow Mirians to collect water at any point of time during the day. LAKU in a press statement said only several centers will be operational for 24 hours. These stations are the Lambe Water Treatment Plant, MIRI Central Bypass nearby the MIRI Hospital, Airport Commercial Center, Milia Residence Eastwood Industries, Permai Jaya, Desa Murni Shoplots, and Masjid Darul Ehsan. Members of the public who wish to take a large amount of water are advised to collect their supply at MIRI Central, where there are 22 water taps available for drive-through. For the repair works, LAKU is currently collaborating with other relevant agencies to resolve the issue immediately and hopes that repair works will be completed by noon on Sunday, June 19th, subject to weather conditions. For further inquiries, LAKU can be contacted via their hotlines shown or at their website at www.lakumanagement.com.my. Following LAKU's statement to aid those who are affected by the water disruption in MIRI, the Minister of Utility and Telecommunication, Datuk Julaihi Narawi, assured that water supply will be fully restored on Monday. He stated that the cause of the pipeline's dislocation was due to soil instability and its old age being over 30 years old. Currently, his ministry is working hand-in-hand with LAKU for the repair works, and 18 water tankers have been deployed to resolve temporary water shortages in MIRI. Julaihi was met by reporters during Parti Pusaka Bumiputra Bersatu PBB's Triennial General Meeting held at the Borneo Convention Centre, Kuching. And one of Malaysia's most versatile and talented icons, Adibah Noor, has passed away at about 8 p.m. today. The news was confirmed by Datin Emilia Rosnaida, wife to Dato AC Mizal, on her Facebook page. According to sources, she has been battling a stage 4 ovarian cancer but kept it private. Prior to her passing, Adiba, who is famous for her song Terlalu Istimewa, recently appeared to have lost a lot of weight at an event last week and stated that she has been dieting since Ramadan. Adiba Noor Muhammad Omar passed at the age of 51. May her soul be placed among the pious. Al-Fatiha. Now, Parti Pusaka Bumi Putera Bersatu PBB has successfully taken steps to bring Sarawak to an era of development in line with the current world trends. Its president, Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg, said the party is no longer limited in its ability to fight for local issues, but was driving new potential that could enhance Sarawak's name at the international level.
PBB hari itu melangkah satu langkah ke hadapan seiring dengan apa yang berlaku di dunia. Sebabnya saya nak kata Douglas dijemput di Rotterdam, negara Belanda. Sarawak Premier Sarawak ke depan. Beri ucapan. Bukan saya nak tinggi diri sih. I'm very humble. But the world has recognized the potential of Sarawak in Malaysia.
He said this when officiating PBB's 15th Delegates Congress on Saturday. Abang Johari, who is also the Premier of Sarawak, said the state has huge and wide potential to carry out international cooperation in various sectors.
Hari dulu Jerman datang, ambassador datang, sebelumnya Korea datang, sebelum Korea Belgium datang, semua ngakak hal Sarawak Energy. Semua ngakak. Dan tidak Korea nak nangkap karbonnya, nak disimpannya di Sarawak. Saya kata, okay, why not? We will study. Ya, jadi pendapatan kepada negeri Sarawak. Dan pendapatan tu mungkin lebih daripada SST.
Adding to that, he said the existence of this bilateral cooperation enables Sarawak to secure a high value of income. As such, a sovereign fund like Norway has been proposed, following the good potential that exists in Sarawak. At the same time, Abang Johari reiterated that the party remains committed to strengthening the capabilities of Bumiputera youths in the state. As such, he said PBB welcomes those aged between 18 to 28 to contribute to the development of Sarawak.
Hari ini PBB menyediakan masa depan untuk mereka. Kita tubuhkan dana bala untuk mereka, termasuk mereka yang belum lagi lahir di dalam proses. Ini adalah untuk masa depan mereka. Biar kita bekerja hari ini untuk mereka. That is why we are not afraid. They reduce the voting up to 18. We know the 18 also with us because we care for them.
Earlier on January 9th, Abang Johari announced that the party will amend the constitution to create a new wing specifically for youths between the age of 18 to 28. The plan aims to establish a better and planned movement, in addition to being able to ensure that the age group is not excluded from the current development plans. Now, the total number of deaths caused by dengue in Sarawak is on the rise, as data showed an increase of 28% deaths between January 2022 to June 17, 2022, when compared with last year's data. Just yesterday, one death was recorded in Cebu.
Pemantauan yang dilakukan oleh Jabatan Kesihatan Negeri Sarawak menunjukkan peningkatan jumlah kes akibat penyakit demam tinggi pada tahun 2022 berbanding tahun sebelumnya. Secara kumulatif, kes demam tinggi yang dilaporkan di Sarawak bermula dari Januari hingga 17 Jun 2022 adalah sebanyak 269 kes berbanding 210 kes bagi tempoh yang sama pada tahun 2021, iaitu peningkatan sebanyak 28%.
To combat dengue effectively, Dr. Irwila said the Health Ministry organized a mass cleaning work in collaboration with other relevant agencies earlier today. She urges local communities to take proactive measures by holding such program in order to prevent the rapid spread of the disease within a residential area.
Tindakan pencegahan oleh masyarakat sivil dengan mencari dan memusnahkan tempat-tempat pembiakan nyamuk Aedes sejak minggu merupakan langkah pencegahan yang digalakkan.
She spoke during the ASEAN's Dengue Awareness Day held at Bau Civic Center on Saturday. Now, there have been talks on the plan to set up a big community correctional center in Sarawak. Malaysia's Prisons Commissioner General Datuk Nordin Mohamad said the prison department is collaborating with Sarawak Small and Medium Enterprise SME Association to make this a reality.
As such, several companies are already engaging 20 to 30 prison inmates as workers, and the department hope it can be expanded. Nordin added that his team has been eyeing a big correctional center provided by the community, which is believed to be able to accommodate approximately 300 inmates to be gainfully employed while serving out their sentences. In addition, the inmates would receive full boarding, food, and salary. Among the reasons to set up correctional centers, he added, are to reduce prison overcrowding and recidivism. As such, he emphasized on community support to ensure the success of such rehabilitation programs so ex-prisoners can become useful citizens who contribute to the nation. Additionally, he added that having one big correctional facility in each state would allow officers to focus on intervention programs to effectively reduce recidivism. For records, Sarawak prisons recorded the lowest recidivism rate at 0.6% or 52 individuals as of May this year.
Coming up right after the break, is GST better than SST? Economist speaks up, and missing British journalist found dead in Brazil. Right here on TVS Nightline. Stay tuned. Thank you for staying with us. Now, economists have hailed the Good and Services Tax, or GST, as better than the current Sales and Services Tax, SST, when it comes to contributing to the government's coffers. Studies showed that the GST offered almost double the tax revenue compared to SST, with more than 140 countries across the world implementing some form of a value-added tax system similar to GST. Earlier in 2015, a 6% GST was introduced but was abolished when Pakatan Harapan took over the federal government and replaced it with the current SST system in 2018. Now, for more insight, let's hear it from Juwai IQI Chief Economist, Mr. Shan Said.
I think, in my opinion, GST is a consumption-oriented tax. It is very effective. 147 countries have implemented GST. If you were to ask me GST versus SST, SST has got components of inefficiencies, and it has not been very effective, whereas GST is very simple and straightforward. And in 2017, government made a lot of revenues by imposing GST. So I think GST is one variable the government is considering. And if GST is implemented, I think it is more effective as compared to SST, because SST is not effective and it is not consumer friendly.
The ringgit is expected to remain soft against the US dollar next week, driven by a bearish outlook on the global economic front. Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad Chief Economist Muhammad Afzal Nizam Abdul Rashid said talks of impending economic slowdown going forward are expected to continue to take a center stage.
For the week just ended, the ringgit was traded mixed against the US dollar amid concern over the possible interest rate hike by central banks around the world to curb rising inflation. The United States Federal Open Market Committee FOMC meeting this week came out with a surprise, which saw the U.S. Federal Reserve FED decide to raise its interest rate by 0.7% to a range of 1.50 to 1.75%. As such, the persistently high inflation compelled the central bank to deliver its biggest hike at a single meeting since 1994. The move was then followed by central banks across Europe, which raised their interest rates on Thursday, June 16, and signaled at even higher borrowing costs to come to tame soaring inflation that is eroding savings and squeezing corporate profits. On a weekly basis, the ringgit was almost flat against the greenback on Friday compared to a week earlier. Meanwhile, the local note was traded higher against a basket of major currencies on a Friday-to-Friday basis. The ringgit was higher against the Singapore dollar a week earlier and rose vis-a-vis the Japanese yen. It appreciated against the euro and strengthened versus the British pound.
The suspension of slaughtering approval granted to Thomas Foods International Bethel, Australia, will not affect the supply of beef, especially for Eid al-Adha. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Religious Affairs, Dato' Idris Ahmad, said it was because of the high demand for the sacrificial activity in conjunction with the festival was particularly for live cows.
On the status of the suspension, Idris said it was still in the investigation process. On May 14, it was reported that the slaughtering approval granted by Malaysia to the halal-certified company had been suspended with immediate effect until a thorough investigation was done. Department of Islamic Development Malaysia JAKIM Director General Dato' Hakimah Muhammad Yusuf was quoted as saying that the decision was made following a special meeting between the Department of Veterinary Services JAKIM and the Australian authority, namely the Department of Agriculture, Water and the Environment, on May 13.
Nama gelombang tu, kau siapa kasarnya, model lembut. Masa kau pedal ya, naik tajak gelombang ya, kau tu melompat.
Kita dua dah tahu benar dengan pantai tu. Orang madah kita dua tu master di situ. Macam aku badan kau ni, once kau dah master laut dengan gelombang, it's over.
Aku masih sebuah hati dengan kau. Apa aku sebab surf kat situ?
Terima kasih, Dona.
Sama.
Mak aku pernah madah. Nak, cari kerja gomen, nak. Bela hidup kau.
Surf to live. Live to surf.
Nak tahu destinasi mana yang saya terjah untuk episod kali ini? Jangan lupa saksikan Sine Tempat Best setiap Ahad jam 4.15 petang hanya di TVS saluran 122 Astro dan My Preview.
Hai, siapa kata makeup artist boleh jadi host? Kita tahu kami dah bagilah host. Jadi kepada anda mesti nak tahu rancangan apakah? Jadi kami nak nunjuk dengan kita orang rancangan apa yang kami jadi host. Kepada anda di rumah, kami Odin Syam dalam rancangan yang terbaru di TVS. Kedai kita hashtag kami jual, kita beli. Love.
Welcome back. Now, human remains found in the search for a British journalist were identified as belonging to Dom Phillips after a dental test was performed. According to local police, the identification process for Indigenous expert Bruno Pereira continues, and tests are being carried out to determine the causes of deaths for both Phillips and Pereira.
Eu só não queria que ele sofresse, nem ele nem Bruno, porque tem tanta crueldade ali, isso me corta muito o coração.
Phillips, 57, who worked for British-based newspaper The Guardian, traveled to the region to write a book on Indigenous people in the Amazon. And Pereira, 41, an expert with the government-affiliated National Indigenous Foundation, has been missing since June 5th. Earlier, police said their investigation suggested there were more individuals involved beyond the suspect who had confessed. But so far, the killers were believed to have acted without the involvement of a criminal organization.
Agora, os indícios levam a crer que fizeram alguma maldade.
However, local indigenous group Univaha, which played a leading role in the search, said it had informed the federal police numerous times since late 2021 that there was an organized crime group operating in the Yavari Valley. Meanwhile, police are still searching for the boat Phillips and Pereira were seen traveling in when they were last seen alive.
After nearly 27 years, an iconic Microsoft product is finally being put to rest. Internet Explorer is now officially incompatible with Microsoft products, as announced by the company on Wednesday, June 15th. The move comes over a year after Microsoft first announced its intention to phase out Internet Explorer from its products.
Announced last year, the official retirement of Internet Explorer on June 15, 2022 comes 26 years and 10 months after its release on August 15, 1995, back when the public-facing Internet was still in its infancy. From almost the very beginning, it courted controversy. After the launch of Windows 95, also in August 1995, Microsoft started bundling Internet Explorer with OEM versions of the operating system. However, support for the final version, Internet Explorer 11, has been maintained even though most people have already moved elsewhere. By ending support, this means important security updates and bug fixes will no longer be rolled out. It has been reported that only 0.45% of Internet users still use the Internet Explorer browser. Meanwhile, in South Korea, the IE browser was given a proper burial. For South Korean software engineer Jung Ki-young, the recent retirement of Microsoft Corporation Internet Explorer browser meant an end to his worst nightmare of the past 25 years. To celebrate his liberation from what he called a love-hate relationship with the browser, he spent a month and 430,000 won, about 1,500 ringgit, ordering a special headstone.
네, 인터넷 익스플로러는 그 크롬에 비해서 인터넷 표준을 지키는 게 아니라 자기만의 다른 표준이 있기 때문에 그런 거에 대해서 이제 맞추기가 힘들어서 제가 작업하기에는 좀 많이 불편함이 있었죠. 그래서 이번 인터넷 익스플로러 종료는 개인적으로는 되게 호상이라고 생각합니다. 실제로 그 작업도 한 1.5배 정도 걸려서 되게 저를 많이 힘들게 했지만 그래도 인터넷 익스플로러 자체가 되게 시대가 가는 의미가 있잖아요. 그리고 의미도 있고 굉장히 역할이 있었기 때문에 저한테는 애정과 애정의 관계라고 볼 수 있겠습니다.
Displayed at a cafe run by his brother, a photo of the tombstone marked with the browser's signature logo quickly went viral on social media sites.
한 달 전부터 이제 소식을 듣고 이걸로 이제 드립을 치면 정말 사람들을 재밌게 해줄 수 있겠다 싶어서 이제 한 달 전부터 준비를 했고요. 이 묘비를 만들면서도 이제 그 석공분들이 이게 진짜냐고 왜 사람 이름이 아니고 이상한 거냐고 물어볼 정도로 했는데 그런 것도 저는 그런 과정이 되게 재밌었던 것 같아요. 그리고 인터넷 익스플로러는 저한테 되게 고마운 존재죠. 왜냐면은 제가 이제 전 세계 사람들을 웃길 수 있게 만들어준 고마운 프로그램이니까요.
Internet Explorer was a long-time market leader since its 1995 launch, but started losing out to Google's Chrome in the late 2000s. In South Korea, one of the most wired countries in the world, it was still the default browser for most government, banking, and shopping sites until recently.
See the world closer with TVS as we bring you the latest news updates, both locally and internationally, just a click away by heading on to our website at www.tvstv.my or follow us on our social media platforms. And that's all the time we have for TVS Nightline. I'm Muhammad Yusuf. Good night and thank you for watching.